morning, YouTube viewers and subscribers. So welcome to the first run on video of this Can-Be 65 Sportster engine. Now I say on video because I did just do a quickie run in the garage just to see how it would fire up and that type of thing. I had just a small amount of FAI 80-20 fuel in this tank, so I figured what the hell, I'll just run it out real quick. So it just was kind of a chance to give me a little bit of familiarization with this engine. Now, I'm not really supposed to be hand starting engines, even though I did try with this one and it didn't fire up very well, so I can't do that anymore. Not supposed to do that. And so I pulled my electric starter out and it was having a hard time turning this engine over too. And it's not like this is a super high compression engine. I think the compression ratio from one of the articles is only like 7:1, but it is brand new. So I employed a technique that I seldom have ever used in the past, but many people do, which is I actually preheated the cylinder up, this portion of the engine up, with a heat gun first, just to give my electric starter a fighting chance to fire this thing up. So I did do a quick run. It was maybe a minute and a half or so in the garage, and it's pretty much cooled down now, so I'm ready to fire it up again. But I did put my 80-20 FAI fuel in here, and I've got the Can-Be non-idle bar plug that came with this engine installed. I did notice I had to replace the washer, the gasket under the plug, because it was leaking, so hopefully that's taken care of. I also noticed that I needed to tighten this screw up on the exhaust because it was wiggling and making some black oily mess coming out. I've got a brand new and a newly balanced Top Flite PowerPoint 12.6 prop. Why am I using a 12.6? Well, the Mikoi instructions say start with an 11.7P, and I know this engine can turn larger props, but so I just figured, what the hell, it's a brand new prop, I'll just put a 12.6 on it and we'll just run this first run on video using this. So let's fire it up and see how she does on camera. Okay, so I think that was a decent enough first run, or second run, more or less, for this engine. It got another heat cycle on it, basically. So the Mikoa instructions are just very ambiguous. Obviously, if you saw my quick look video, you know that this is not an ABC engine, nor is it a ringed engine. So I'm not really entirely sure how it's supposed to be broken in. The Mikoa instructions just say run it at a burbly rich setting for about 15 minutes, which was what it was kind of sounding like, around the 8,500 RPM. Then I leaned it out a little bit more and ran it, you know, I hit 10,000 and ran most of it around 9,300, I think, or something like that. So I'm hoping that's a good compromise. I need to check and see exactly how you adjust the mid-range or the low speed on this, because it's not a twin needle carb, so I'll have to go and check that, but I wasn't really planning on doing any low speed adjustments on this first run anyway. But as you can see, it runs, and very similar to OS FP series engines that are bushed and non-bearing, it has this little bit of crankshaft in place, so at lower speeds or at certain RPMs it kind of has this rattling sound. And even though I did balance this prop, it did seem like it vibrated quite a bit when it was at a lower idle or a lower speed. So, and I did still see a little bit of black goo coming out from the joints of this muffler. Now this muffler does have a large baffle inside, and on the Clarence Lee or on the Peter Chin review, I think they show very good pictures of the internals of this exhaust. But the thing with exhausts that are multiple pieces like this is they have a lot of mechanical joints that need to either be secured or sealed, because if they vibrate at all, then they're going to create some black mess of metal on metal wear, and that's kind of what I've seen here also. And on that very first run in the garage, I saw the same thing around the drive hub too. Now it's nothing to be alarmed at, it's just normal for a break-in when you've got metal on metal parts. But the exhaust thing is a whole different matter. I mean, the exhaust does an excellent job of keeping the sound levels down, but in general I don't like exhausts that have so many pieces, because of the fact that they're either going to be working loose or coming up with this black oily stuff, and it can lead you to believe that maybe you've got an issue with your engine when you really don't. It's actually the exhaust that's creating that black goo. But anyway, that was a pretty decent first run. I'll continue to do some break-in runs on this, and then we'll get it on the other side of the stand, maybe for some static thrust tests in the future. So thank you for watching.